Hi, my name is Adam. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about the 8 cheapest countries to move to if you're looking to retire abroad. And this is an article from Travel and Leisure. We're just going to break down the different 8 ones. I'm going to jump into it a little bit and then talk about kind of 3 tips. Like if you're looking to retire abroad out of Canada, there's 3 key tips that you need to know as you move forward with that. And it's very important. There's tax treaties depending on what country you go to. There's a lot involved if you're looking to kind of leave Canada and go to another country. So the very first country is Mexico. And this doesn't surprise me. You know, Mexico is a fairly cheap country to go to. We've done a few plans for clients that are already in Mexico. The clients we've done 3 of them, and they've been in the Puerto Vallarta region, and they actually lived in a community of like expats. Like it was all, in fact, I think the whole community was like people from Alberta. So, you know, whether you want to live with people from Alberta in Mexico, up to you. There are a lot of people moving to Mexico. It's cheaper. It's fairly easy to get around. It's good healthcare down there. There's a lot of things going good for Mexico, and it's very close, right? It's easy to get down there. It's fairly easy to get some sort of, you know, green card, permanent residency, all that. So take a look into that. But that's number 1 of cheap countries to go to on their list. The second one is Ecuador. Never been there myself, but I've heard it's very beautiful. Along with number 3, which is Costa Rica. Now, Costa Rica I've never visited. I've been on both sides of it. If you enjoy the beach life, all that, got a wonderful beach life, and it's very Americanized. Costa Rica, if you look at Central South America, Costa Rica is probably the most Americanized or Canadianized country down there. So if you're looking for something that it feels a bit like home, but I know I'm not at home, Costa Rica may be the place you want to go to. The 4th one on the list is Portugal. Now, this is probably the number 1 requested place that people reach out to us. So, you know, Adam, we're looking to move to Portugal. Portugal has some very lenient and very good taxes for people coming into the country. I don't have the ins and outs. I'm not, a tax expert on Portuguese tax laws and all their systems, but I know a lot of people are moving from Canada to Portugal because A, it's easy to get into. You get into the EU. There's a lot of benefits to Portugal. The housing prices in Portugal are ramping up exponentially. 8 to 12 months ago, it was very reasonable. It's starting to get much more expensive. So a lot of people are flooding there, which is driving up housing market. So be aware of that too. Look at the real estate market down there. It has jumped up quite a bit, but Portugal is definitely probably at the top of the list as far as the number 1 destinations that we hear here in our office. The 5th one on the list is Panama. I was in Panama 11 years ago, backpacking through there, had a wonderful time, loved the country, beautiful beaches on the East Coast. So if you're thinking about Panama, definitely a great country to go to. A lot of you follow Adriano from Passive Investing here on YouTube. I know he recently relocated to Panama. So if that's you, if you're looking to go to Panama, reach out to Adriano. I'm sure he's willing to kind of give you some advice there. Haven't talked to him personally. But it looks like just watching his videos, he's had a good integration there. And I have seen other people head down there. And there's lots of YouTube videos on, you know, relocating to Panama or any other of these countries that I talk about. The 6th one on the list is Vietnam. Now, this intrigues me. I think that, you know, the culture change would be very drastic going to a place like Vietnam. It's fairly cheap to go there. A very popular place for Canadians to retire to. So if you're looking more for that culture, this would be the number 1 place first, cheapest, and integrating into there. The 7th one on the list is Montenegro, and I've never heard a client asking or looking to go to Montenegro, but apparently it's very popular amongst Americans, but something that I think it'll probably be one of those countries that people are flying to here in the next year or 2. So check that out. If you're looking for a place, it might kind of replace Portugal, I think. The taxes may not be quite as good, but something to look into. If you're looking to move abroad, definitely look at Montenegro. And the last one on my list is probably where I would go to, which is Colombia. Now, I went to Panama back in 2011. I also jumped over to Colombia, spent a couple of weeks there, backpacking, covered most of the country. And let me tell you, Colombia is a beautiful, beautiful country. I loved it there. Absolutely loved it. Had quite a few unique experiences where I ran into the army there. I was kind of, you know, backpacking, doing a hike on my own, ran into the army. They said, "Why are you here? You shouldn't be here." It was a bit crazy. Good stories to have. Glad I got out of there alive. It's just a beautiful country. The people there are just fabulous. Had a wonderful time. So if you're thinking about going to a country, definitely don't rule out Colombia. Again, I don't know the tax and the benefits there, but as far as just places to be, it's definitely high on my list. So if you're someone looking to go to one of these 8 countries or maybe a different country that's not on this list, I think the very first thing you need to look into and do a lot of research and spend a lot of time on is the tax treaty. Now, does Canada have a tax treaty with the country you're looking to go to? If it does, you need to break that down. You need to understand it. And if you don't understand it, you need to hire a cross-border tax accountant that does understand. Again, we have some that we can refer you to if you're you're looking for one in Canada, we do have a couple locally here. There's specialists that deal with these types of things. You need to reach out to them and make sure that you understand if you go to one of these countries, how does the taxes work? Are you actually going to save on taxes? Is it withholding taxes in Canada? All of that. There's a lot of moving parts. So make sure to understand the tax treaty. That is number one. I've talked to people that said, yeah, we're retiring wherever. And I'm like, okay, well, do you understand the tax treaty? They're like, tax treaty? You don't know anything about it. That needs to be the number one. It blows my mind that people would leave Canada and leave to another country and not understand that there could be a tax consequence. There could be a tax benefit, but there could definitely be a tax consequence. And we've seen clients do this where they've left to, for instance, one of our clients that went to Mexico. They're actually paying more tax in Mexico the way they structured it than they would have in Canada. Now their cost of living is much cheaper, so overall they're better off. But just because you're moving to a country that has lower taxes doesn't mean that you're actually paying less tax. So just make sure you understand and are aware of all the tax situations. The second thing you need to look at is departure tax. And a lot of you have never heard this term before. If you're looking to leave Canada to another country, you need to understand departure tax. So departure tax is when you leave Canada, there's basically a sale of everything other than your registered account. So house, all that. So there could be a big tax bill leaving Canada. So you need to, again, talk to a cross-border tax accountant to figure out what your tax liability, what is your departure tax. There's a lot of things you need to do before you leave Canada. Once you leave Canada, it's too late. You need to do it before you leave Canada, or you could run into some big tax bills down the road. The third and final thing is to have a plan, have a financial retirement tax estate plan. Make sure you understand the country that you're leaving to. What happens when you die there? What happens to your accounts in Canada? What happens to your accounts down there? Have you updated your will? When you leave Canada, there's a lot of things that need to happen. So make sure you have a plan in place. That plan is going to roll out your cash flow plan. I think that's very important. A lot of you will leave to a different country because it's cheaper. It's going to give you, you're going to have more cash flow there. But what is that cash flow? You still need to have a tax plan. Like we talk about the RSP meltdown and the laddered income where it's kind of the go, slow go, no go phase. Whether you're in Canada or abroad, that doesn't change. So you still need to have a plan in place to know where your income comes from, how to reduce the tax bill, how to integrate with tax in whatever country you're going to. If you're looking to leave Canada and you have assets, RSPs and TFSAs and everything here, like your financial world's sitting in Canada, but you're moving to a different country, it's hard to put together a perfect tax financial plan. And what I mean by that is that, let's say you move to Mexico. When you move to Mexico, you're gonna have withholding tax. The tax treaty is 15%. Some are paying 25%. It's very uncertain. And this is part of the problem with moving to a different country. It's not always as simple and straightforward as people think. There's withholding tax in Canada. It depends if you're filing taxes in Mexico or not. A lot of people don't. So like, is there any refund of the withholding tax? All this, there's a lot of moving parts. But when we put a financial plan together for a client that's leaving Canada, we will do it based on the province that they currently live in, and we'll make tax adjustments. So let's say you're going to Portugal and the taxes are gonna be zero or very low. There's just withholding tax here. We can make the adjustments either up or down to kind of adjust for that. And again, if you have accounts in Canada, when you pass away, is your will updated to reflect who you want that money to go to? Or let's say you move to Mexico. A lot of people that move to Mexico will bring money down there because they can get a really good interest rate. What happens if you have money in a Mexican bank and you pass away? These are the things you need to talk to your tax accountant about to make sure you understand and you have all kind of the T's crossed and the I's dotted so that that money actually gets out of that Mexican bank account and gets to the people that should be getting it. So make sure you understand that before you leave Canada and just jump over to a different country because it sounds really good and it sounds cheap. So thanks so much for joining us in this video. Again, if you're looking to leave Canada, move to a different country, again, whether it's one of these 8, and we'll link this article below, make sure you do your due diligence. You need to have a good cross-border tax accountant. If you don't have a financial plan, reach out to our office. We're happy to kind of work on cash flow. Again, we're not cross-border tax experts. We work on the cash flow and tax estate of it. There's a big difference between the two. So the cross-border tax account will work on the tax treaty, the exit tax, all of that. We work on cash flow. How do you get your money out most efficiently? Reach out to our office, parallelwealth.com/planning. You can learn more about our services. Thank you for joining us in this video. We'll see you in the next one.